Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday, is it? It's 11 a.m. for me here on the east coast of the USA. So I hope it's not too early for you wherever you are. Um, I'm just gonna take a minute to let everybody come into the stream, give everybody a second to show up. Um, if you haven't seen me much, that's because I've been busy. Life has changed a bit for me here. So I haven't been streaming as much as I have wanted to and posting videos as much as I have wanted to, but I'm still here. I'm still going to be making content. Don't worry. Speaking of posting videos, this stream I'm intending to turn into an edited video. So if you are watching this on the replay, and you're more of a video type of person, don't worry, I will make a video version of this that'll be more cut down and a little less ADHD rambly. Oh, hi, Taya, how are you doing? But yeah, if this is your first time at one of my live streams, hi, Rhapsody. Get ready for a little bit of me talking slower, a little more rambly, a little more off the cuff. And there's a lot for us to discuss today. Oh, hi. Hello, Catherine. Hello, Quill. Quill or Quilt? Quill. Cool. Yeah, please, if you're here, like the stream. Hi, Rasan. Hi, Dylan. Oh, yay. All right, we've got a group here. I'm happy about it. All right. Yeah, if you're here, please give the stream a like. That always helps get the notifications out, all that good stuff. We're going to get into it shortly. I just want to give a few minutes here at the top. On the way, when I'm done with the live part of this stream, I will put timestamps. Usually I do that within 24 hours. And that is my plan with this when the time comes. Sorry, I'm a little bit low energy now because I'm saving I'm saving my energy for what's coming in a few minutes once everybody gets here. But yeah, oh, hi, hello. So while you're here, before we really get started in the stream, if you have any specific questions or topics related to Colleen that you want me to comment on or give my opinion on or answer during this live stream, now is a good time. You can put them in the chat. Rhapsody, if there's a way that you can save them, go for it, but I don't actually know if there is from your end, but let me know. And I'll also certainly look back in the stream to try to address those later on in the stream as I get to that portion of the stream. But I know that I have not done as much Colleen content as a lot of other commentators because the whole time that was going on, I was having my own medical issues, and so I was offline. And probably around 2 months ago now, in September-ish, I put out a video about Colleen, and I said in that video that I was going to make... I shouldn't make promises anymore. I said in that video that I was going to make a detailed timeline going through everything in chronological order that Colleen has done. I said that in September when my schedule was very different than it became in October, and it has continued to change here in November. So, because I have a day job, so I have to rescind. I have to go back on that promise, and I'm so sorry. I am not able to put the time into doing that properly. I have tried. I've spent the past couple months starting to research, but just the time in my schedule is not allowing it. It is also honestly very difficult for me personally. There are a lot of things about Colleen's upbringing that are shared with my upbringing. So I found myself, as I was in the beginning of the research process, going from the beginning of her timeline, feeling like I don't know if I can address these topics properly because I'm afraid that I'm projecting onto her like my experience and my feelings. And that's where I became like, and I don't know if I necessarily am able to suss out when I'm doing that or not. Um, and then with the time crunch and with like all of these other things, it just feels like not the right thing for me personally to do. As much as I'm interested honestly in seeing in seeing the chronological of like how all this stuff lines up, because I know that there's fascinating overlaps between what Colleen was saying to whom when at the same time she was saying this to Adam, she was saying this to Trisha, and she was doing this and she was blah, blah. But I just also don't have the time and the capacity right now to do that to the quality that I need to do it in order for me to be the one to do it. But let me tell you, a lot of what I was going to use for resources in that was is on the Colleen Ballinger Snark Reddit subreddit. They have a ton of thoroughly researched timelines on that subreddit. So I highly recommend, if you're interested in the chronological order of how everything has gone, that is a great place to start. There's not one conclusive timeline that, oh, that's interesting, Chrissy. That's fascinating. There's not one conclusive timeline that lines everything up, which is what I wanted to do, but there are a lot of like topic timelines. Like there's a timeline of like specifically Colleen and Eric's relationship. There's a timeline of kind of year by year separate timelines. And then there are timelines like one that's problematic behavior in general, and it's like mostly in chronological order, but some of it is honestly like big bullet point lists, which also helpful. Like it's pretty much chronological, and then they'll go into the comments and continue to organize and edit anything that needs to be edited. So like huge shout out to the Colleen Ballinger Snark subreddit. They've been interestingly enough, they've been a huge part of this story all along. News was breaking there. I'm sure that Colleen has people there who tell her things and that she uses that as kind of direction for how she should make her moves. And, you know, just major credit to the people who are in that subreddit. It also felt like I was not the person to make like a big timeline video, because it feels more responsible for me to direct you to the amazing work that other people have done in that regard. So I want to send you over to the Colleen Ballinger Snark subreddit and utilize those resources that are there, because it's clear that people have put in like dedicated hours, days to creating these timelines and like over the years, because some of them were made literally 2-3 years ago, updating, like if somebody puts something in the comments, the mods will come in and say, please make sure that you include receipts. You know, like they run a tight ship over there. And I appreciate them for doing that, because especially in moments like this, we need that accountability internally, especially if we're asking for accountability from a major influencer. So, yeah, I'm not going to do the timeline myself. If anybody's disappointed by that, my apologies again, but it seems like everybody's pretty cool with it in the chat, so thank you. But I also, you know, I don't like making a promise that I'm going to do something and then I don't end up doing it. So I do feel bad about it. I think that moving forward, because of my new level of commitment that is needed at my day job, which is very different than the day job I had last year and the beginning of this year, where I had a lot of downtime, or a lot of like, kind kind of waiting for things to happen time. And so I was able to spend a lot of time researching and editing and stuff. But that is not the type of day job that I have now. It's much more engaging and requires a lot more of my thought and time and energy, and it tires me out much more. And so, I just don't have the time that I used to have to do deep dives. I think I'm going to navigate away from those in general on my channel, just for the sake of I don't feel like I can do them justice unless I'm going to switch to doing like 1 to 2 videos a year. And I feel like me personally, I would hate that. I would hate thinking about a topic intensely for 6 whole freaking months. It wears on me. It wears. This topic is exhausting. It truly is. Whether you're one of the people directly involved, it's even more exhausting to them. But also people watching from the sides who are trying to be part of the accountability factor here. It is exhausting. Because of just once you come to understand the depth and the level of like the weirdness that's gone on here, I feel like it should be exhausting, at least, because it's so heavy. Like, it's just heavy. It's a heavy load to carry. And I'm not Adam, I'm not Becky, I'm not Ella, I'm not one of these people who's like directly involved. I wasn't part of the fandom. I have like an acquaintance who's a big fan still for some reason. And so like that weighs on me because I'm like, she's a year older than me. I knew this acquaintance in college, and that's when she really got into Miranda. And I would think, I don't know, like I'm just surprised, that even somebody that I know, who I have known to be a Miranda and Colleen fan, but who I didn't know was like so much into it, that now, after all of this, she's still like following Corey DeSoto's new Instagram, like, so it's close to home in a couple of ways. And I'm not even the one who has experienced this stuff myself or who's been part of the fandom. So like, it's crazy how taxing it is without even being that close. So, yeah, we have a lot to talk about. So I think it's about time to get into it now. How long has it been? Yeah, I think we're long enough. Thank you so much. There's 48 people here. I'm so happy to see you all here on a Monday morning, bright and early. Let me know. Do you have a drink? Do you have a snack? Are you ready to settle in? I'm going to try not to take too long with this one, but let me know what you've got. Oh, I should turn on my can I turn on my do not disturb? Wait. Hold on. I'm going to need that. I don't know how to do it from my laptop. And my phone is being utilized as my camera. Dang it. That's a problem. Hold on, guys. Yo, who has a MacBook Pro and wants to tell me how to put do not disturb on? Oh, wait. I found it. Do not disturb. Starting now. Right now. Please don't make me schedule it. Just put it on now. Okay, that sounds good. Is it on now? Oh, yeah, Alexandra, for me, oh, sorry, I'm like yelling into this mic. For me, it's 11:15. Alexandra, 11:15 a.m. Can I turn on the do not disturb now, please? Okay, so is it going to be on? Yes, it is. Okay, great. All right, we're good. All right, people. So, let me just start with a general disclaimer. Because I have to. I'm a commentator, and everything I'm about to provide in this video is my opinion. It's my speculation based on publicly available information that other people have put out there. I encourage everybody who watches my content to do their own research and come to their own conclusions. I have done my research, and these are the conclusions that I have come to. And that is what I am sharing. I do not encourage anybody to spread any sort of hate, animosity, etc. There's really not much else for me to say other than I am a commentator and I'm offering my opinion, and I will be trying to remember to remind my audience that allegations are allegations. Allegations can also come along with some very strong evidence. But at the end of the day, they're still allegations, unless and until proven in a court of law, because that's how America works. So, from here forward, I had planned, guys, I have spent weeks thinking and working and trying to put together a Colleen Ballinger stream to be the follow-up to the video that I made that I put out a few weeks ago. It's probably been about 2 months by now. I think it was in September. And it was with the understanding that I thought that Colleen Ballinger might actually be gone. Because especially once I saw that Corey seems no longer to be working with her, and Corey has been by her side this whole entire time, Corey DeSoto. He got a new job working in theater, performing. His Instagram reflected that. I said, ooh, that is a huge change. That is really something. And so I thought, wow, maybe, just maybe, she can't figure out how to come back online. And she's done. Now I have a different opinion because obviously she's come back. But all that to say, I had if you're on my Patreon and you're in my Discord as a result, you will know that I posted about this Friday, literally the day before she posted her video. On Friday, I posted in the Discord. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to stream tonight. We're finally going to talk about Colleen Ballinger. I had a whole different stream planned out for what I was going to say. I ended up not being able to do so because of some just like things that went wrong with my scheduling, and I stayed later than I planned at work and blah, 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 blah. Thank God that I didn't end up doing that stream, because less than 24 hours later, here comes Colleen dropping a comeback video. Not necessarily unexpected, but at least unexpected to me, because like I said, I thought that Corey moving on from this universe was a sign. Now I think it's a sign of something different. And I'll get to that. Yeah. So, those of you who are kind of newer to the stream, I said closer at the start of the stream because we've been streaming for about 19 minutes. Wow. Time is flying. I'm so sorry. We've been streaming for about 20 minutes now. And I said right at the start, if you have any specific questions or topics that you want me to touch on in this live stream, please put them in the chat. I have a couple of mods who are around, and I'm hoping they can find a way to save them. And also I'll be able to scroll back later on in the stream. I'll make sure that there's a time where I scroll back to look at your questions and comments and stuff. But, because I'm deviating from the stream that I had originally planned for today, I'm going to kind of interweave some of those thoughts in between what is also going to be a much less planned video So, or stream. It's a stream right now. I'm going to make it into an edited video. I'll let you know when I'm being more off the cuff because I think that that's important. Oh, thank you so much, Rhapsody. You're perfect. Love you. I don't remember what I was going to say. I have ADD, and sometimes I just forget. So anyway, we're gonna, one of the things that I had planned in my original stream from Friday that I'm going to keep in today's stream. Before we get into Colleen's comeback video, which we're gonna talk about it. I think we need to take a quick moment to remind ourselves what exactly Colleen is coming back from. So let's just take a quick moment. I'm going to just go back through some of the, again, allegations that are out there against her, because there's a certain gravity to her particular situation on YouTube, which led to such a massive conversation around her and what looked like maybe an effective cancellation, because what she did was bad, allegedly. So, again, all my opinion and speculation, but I'm going to read from some notes for just a second. Colleen Ballinger and Corey DeSoto have done some objectively bad things over the past 15 plus years of their YouTube career online. We're going to overview it so we don't forget it. First of all, as a preface to this, let's keep in mind that Colleen has almost always had a child audience. And in front of that child audience, while portraying both her Miranda Sings character and while just being herself, Colleen has produced a lot of problematic content. There is a Twitter thread that I can produce specifically on this. This is a thread by, LOL, LOML, Grapery, Vinny. This is still available on Twitter. It's also going to be in my sources, linked my sources for this stream. It's in my description right now. It should be. So Vinny, back in June of this year, on my very own birthday, went through and clipped all of these different moments screenshot of titles of videos of Colleen / Miranda / sibling in the videos being problematic. This is a personal, what's the opposite of favorite? Gross it? That's what that is. That one. So, there's a lot. Let's see, giving her ex-husband Josh a something on camera while he's talking, even after he says no and is uncomfortable. Posting thumbnails like this to her child audience. Again, child audience, important to mention. Sexualizing minors, SA jokes. This whole thing with her and Todrick Hall showcasing an unhoused person in their vlog, making fun of that person, and on it goes. And I'm going to read from my own list as well. Note Corey DeSoto, just as involved in this as Colleen, and I'm honestly shocked that he has not had more consequences from this whole thing. What's this? Oh yeah. Content full of pedo innuendos for her young audience. Isn't that a thrill? Her stupid book full of bad things. Just a lot. And of course, Adam McIntyre has talked about a whole bunch of stuff. that are specific to him. Racial stereotypes, fat phobia, racism. The list goes on and on. Part of that is just due to how long she's been on YouTube. So she's just had a long period of time to fuck up with people just apparently not paying that much attention or just not feeling it was worth talking about. Or what I've seen more, when you look at the beginnings of Colleen's career, there are multiple cancellations that have taken place for her over the years. This 2023 cancellation is not the first one. It's the first one that seemed effective until 2 days ago. So those are some easy to access clips and screenshots of things that Colleen has allegedly done. I'm also going to read my own list. Again, as an overview, I may end up, unfortunately, accidentally forgetting some things here. If I do, put it in the chat and I'll try to add it to the list at the end. But again, this is why Colleen is making a comeback from this. We need to look at the depths of how low she was that she needed to climb her way back out of. So, Colleen Ballinger and Corey DeSoto have produced content for a child audience, including racist content, sexually explicit content, including content that is specifically aimed at kids, either sexualizing children or sexualized content for a child audience, shocking and or gross content in general. And just to offer one example, skip ahead or cover your ears for 10 seconds if you love animals. Starting now, trigger warning now. One time, for no particular reason, she showed a dead cat in one of her vlogs from tour. So, why? Why do you need to do that? There's generally exploitative content from her. Daily family vlogging her kids' lives online since they were born. Mental health related content that is misinformed at best, dangerous at worst. And she has sent concerningly mixed signals about her weight and her eating habits in her videos, which has led fans to believe that she has an ED that she won't admit to or won't address, or at least has some disordered habits in that regard. And then outside of the content that Colleen and Corey have produced and published for her channels, just as a person, the two of them have allegedly, but also backed by documentation that is publicly available online, sent nude images of Trisha Paytas to underage fans as a joke, according to, again, publicly available documentation. And they even allegedly hosted viewing parties for people to come watch this adult content and mock Trisha for doing it. Also, that content was behind a paywall. So aside from the mean girl factor that's very present here, isn't it essentially stealing to show publicly that paid content that was behind a paywall? Isn't that kind of stealing? To do that as a viewing party? Just saying. And all the while this was going on behind the scenes, Colleen was pretending to be Trisha's friend and occasional YouTube collaborator. So, ew, you know? Based on evidence that is available in her public posts, it seems that Colleen cheated on her publicly known husband, Joshua David Evans, to be with her current husband, Eric, who was her employee when they started seeing each other. That is something that I will discuss more later on. Based on publicly available evidence, Colleen formed inappropriate grooming relationships with many minor fans, sharing way too much personal information in her public posts sharing way too much personal information with them, relying on them for emotional support, and often while talking shit about them behind their backs. And then turned on them and She would then turn on them and exclude them from her group if they crossed her in any way, or didn't even cross her, but she deemed it as a cross. Colleen and Corey also connected their fans with Colleen's family members, including her allegedly predatory brother, Trent, who we will discuss more in a little bit. They have taken advantage of Colleen's fans for free work, like Adam McIntyre giving her a ton of ideas and briefly running her social media accounts. As somebody who does social media, let me just say that is work. It's freaking work. That's why I don't do it that much. It's because it's hard, it's time consuming, it takes a lot of creative energy. It's tough to do on a part-time basis and do it well. And so that's why I don't do it super well, to be honest with you. And I know that I could do more on Instagram. I don't. So there's Adam. There's also 2 fans that Adam interviewed on his channel a little while ago, back in June, July, when all of this was really popping off, who said that they babysat Colleen's kids when they were minors. I believe that they didn't get paid for that. Also, they babysat Colleen's kids and Colleen's sister's kids, I believe Rachel's kids, when they were on vacation and happened to be in town. Or alternatively to that, they have hired their fans in order to get their labor for a severely discounted price. Basically, the one thing that I'll give Johnny Silvestri is that he was not paid enough to put up with Corey's bullshit on that tour. That being said, I don't trust Johnny's other claims, and there's ample evidence out there as to why I shouldn't, so I don't. Additionally, they have exploited minor fans on stage with skits that sexualize them, like in the case of Becky and the porn skit. They claim their fans' disabilities were being faked and used as a means to get more attention from her, specifically in the case of Ella, but I'm sure if it happened once, it's not the only time. They body check their fans, which has reportedly caused them body dysmorphia and other body image issues. They have also created an air of sketchiness surrounding her annual childhood cancer fundraiser, which interestingly enough is still linked in Corey DeSoto's new Instagram account. Description, the bio, links to that fundraiser. Colleen and Corey will not provide documentation showing where all of the money goes once it is raised, and instead, Corey just insults people for asking about that. For example, this was posted 11 months ago. This happened January 1st, 2023. Somebody asks, is Colleen ever going to prove to us that she actually donated the live stream money and didn't pocket any of it? And Corey responds, wow, what an idiot. You do the work. Call Family Reach. Call Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. Call the families that watched their child die. There's your receipts. You call and they will tell you how much she donated. First of all, that's not what she was asking for. That does not answer her question. And secondly, rude, deflective, mean. Doesn't answer the question, doesn't prove anything. One thing that I will say about the cancer fundraiser, because I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. This is the only mention of the cancer fundraiser for this video. But Legal Bites is a channel that did an amazing series on all of Colleen's potential legal problems. And I highly recommend that you watch the whole. It's a 3-part series and it comes to about an hour long in total of everything that the 3 videos that she did. But I especially recommend her video on this topic about the childhood cancer fundraiser. It's here. Colleen Ballinger's Massive Legal Mistakes, Part 3, Charity Fraud. I didn't subscribe to the channel, but I should because it's good content, subscribe. Everybody, all right? It really breaks down, because she's a lawyer who runs this channel. It really breaks down exactly, why there's sketchiness, how Colleen could solve the sketchiness, but also she makes a very compelling, within 14 minutes, a compelling illustration of what it looks like Colleen may be doing with the money, as opposed to donating all of it, potentially, allegedly. So it's worth watching. Everything that I've shown on screen thus far is linked in my source document, which is linked in the description of this stream, and it will be linked in the description of the edited version of this that I eventually make for a video. So. This is a broad overview list of Colleen and Corey's many wrongdoings. And as I said, I may have left some things out by mistake. But let's also keep in mind, this is what's available for us to see online, based on the stories of people who felt comfortable enough to come forward and share their stories and their receipts. Who knows what else has gone on behind the scenes that we are not privy to, or that just have been overlooked. It's totally possible people are telling their stories and just have not gained the ground, the platform for us to even really add them to this massive web already. That, like, it's very complicated already. So for Colleen to come back from all of this, from this very, very deep hole that she had dug her way down into, was going to be difficult. We saw, I don't even know if the High video, the Toxic Gossip Train video, I don't know if that was an attempted comeback. Because, first of all, the video went over poorly, and I think that with a single moment of critical thinking, she could have predicted that it would have gone over poorly. So I don't know why she posted that video. But I think, like, if she had thought that that video was going to go over well, I think that could have been her comeback. Since it didn't, her next comeback had to be sincere. Because that video, if you watched my video breaking down High Toxic Gossip Train video, that video was completely insincere, and there were a few notable nuggets of truth in there, but she was not in the mood to take any accountability and responsibility and make any apologies. So with that in mind, if she was ever going to return to YouTube, it makes sense that she would do it now, because, and I'm probably going to repeat some points that other commentators have made, but they're valid points. And some of them are points that I thought of before I watched a couple of other commentators. We help each other out sometimes, but I also have my own original ideas. I don't know why I'm saying, ignore me. Anyway, this time of year, today is Monday, November 20th. This past week and this week, we're coming up on Thanksgiving. We're coming up on Black Friday. This is when AdSense, which is what pays YouTubers through Google, the ads that run on our videos and our live streams, this is when the AdSense rates that we receive are highest. So most opportunity for income. And if Colleen was going to come back, it makes sense that she would come back now, especially because, not only high AdSense, but also family vloggers in general tend to have the most audience interaction around the holidays because it's a family time of year. They're doing Vlogmas. They're doing their celebrations. They're decorating the tree. They're doing the videos that everybody wants to watch to feel warm and cozy and family around the fire, all those kind of vibes. It's a particularly good time of year for specifically vloggers, which is what Colleen is doing now. So that timing makes sense in a general sense. But also, what has happened recently in the Colleenverse? Not much, except Rosanna Pansino spoke out recently about, first of all, why she had not been speaking out about Colleen for a long time, because essentially she was going through her own shit in her life, and then she was kind of hoping and waiting to hear some other side of the story from Colleen, and that never happened. Rosanna Pansino was a frequent collaborator with Colleen. One could assume from that there is some kind of a friendship there. Rose said that they don't talk anymore. Their kids don't see each other anymore. She does not support Colleen's behavior, and she believes the victim speaking out and all of that. So that, I feel like, was probably a particularly large blow to Colleen to have specifically Ro speaking out. Because, like, Trisha speaking out didn't make Colleen come back, because Colleen never really liked Trisha. But I think that Colleen did actually like Ro. So I think it's interesting that after somebody she actually likes and respects speaks, after that person speaks out against her instead of in her favor, shortly afterward, she comes back. Also, Adam, in his response to Rosanna Pansino's statement on everything, in that video, Adam said that he was in therapy, healing, moving forward, ready to kind of leave this behind. And Adam theorized this, and I agree that that was not something that Colleen wanted. For people to just move on from this story. If she wasn't going to be online talking about herself, we all needed to be online talking about herself. Somebody, somewhere, needs to be talking about Colleen Ballinger. And, in a way, there's this, symbiotic relationship, I guess, between YouTubers who fuck up and people like me who commentate on their upfuckery. So in a way, it's beneficial for me and other people like me and commentators that she did post a video, because it gives us our own, piece of content for the AdSense or for the whatever. But I think that she specifically isn't concerned with that whole side of it. Any Colleen fans who may have something to say about that in the comments, I think she's much more particularly concerned with Adam, because he, after Cody Rance posted their video, Adam was the one who picked up that ball and got it rolling and made it snowball into what it is now. So if Adam is feeling healthy, healed, and ready to move, then it's time for Colleen to come out and tell him, no, that's not how this works. In my opinion, I don't know. I'm no mind reader. I'm no expert. I don't talk to Colleen. I don't talk to Adam McIntyre, but that's just how it looks to me. She doesn't mind if people like me have some shit to say, because she had a chance to get on these other people's nerves and get in their minds and make some money from it. It's a win-win for her, I think. So the timing is very interesting, especially because I notice let's get into the video for this part. We're going to start watching her comeback video now, because there's something I want to point out close to the beginning. Oh, wait, you know what? Okay. So this video of Colleen's, her comeback video, has two portions. The first portion is her kind of re-apologizing for the bad things she's done, quote unquote, many years ago. And then the second like 75% of the video is her vlogging. And that vlog was filmed on November 17th, the day before she uploaded on November 18th. And November 17th, allow me just a moment to look this up. First of all, it's my very own sister's birthday. So how dare she for that reason? But also, yeah. November 17th.
Hi, Margaret.
Yeah. November 17th is the day that Adam uploaded this video. Rosanna Pansino speaks on Colleen Ballinger. November 17th, November 17th, 2023. Interesting, isn't it? And then that was one video related to that, and then the follow-up. I believe this was posted on, also November 17th. You gonna tell me that Colleen didn't notice? That didn't spark some inspiration? Like I said, come to your own conclusions. But so what Colleen did film on November 17th and post for us all is this fall vlog. And my apologies in advance. I'm going to be stopping it a lot to respond to what she's saying. So if you don't like that, then this is really, really not the right stream or the right video for you. But that's the point of what I'm doing here. So also, before I watch this, please don't go watch this video out of morbid curiosity. You're watching it here through me. You can watch it through Fat Sajak, through Adam McIntyre, through no, Peterman didn't show clips. He gave his own opinions without clips. But there are tons of other people who are doing essentially this. There are other ways to watch this video. Don't give her the view. She doesn't deserve it, in my opinion. That is my only advice. Oh, thank you, Willow. I'm glad I saw this right here. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank you so much, Willow. My program finally started saving super chats separately so I don't lose them. Okay, great. All right. If you're here, please like the stream. We're gonna get into it. That's right.
Hello, everybody. Sorry I've been gone for so long. I've really missed this. I've missed talking to everyone every single day.
First problem, talking to everyone every single day. First of all, in general, I think that daily vlogging and daily uploading is unhealthy. Second of all, everyone is a majority child audience. Third of all, talking to everyone every single day includes, that's one of the things she was canceled for. Especially considering the group chats, considering the oversharing, considering the exploiting her children and her family on the internet. keep in mind for things she's going to say later. All right.
Obviously, the last video that I posted on here, it's really embarrassing to say the least. I was being accused of some pretty awful things, and I just was mad, and I should have handled that situation with maturity and empathy, but instead I just let my ego take over, and I'm really disappointed in myself.
May I direct your attention? Hold on. Look at what is still on her channel. This video that's so embarrassing and that she's so disappointed in. Interesting, isn't it? Oh yeah, there's a new one too since this video. It's not worth talking about. It's just her talking about how much she likes rocks. I wish I was joking. It is quite literally 14 minutes of her talking about how much she likes rocks and like what she's doing, like collecting and polishing rocks and her favorite rocks. She's like, because she's really like relatable and quirky now. So, okay.
So, here's what I want to say today. Over the last 15 years of my career, there have been moments where I was immature and inappropriate with some of my comedy, and there were times when I did not put enough thought into some of my fan interactions, and because of that behavior, people got hurt, and I am so sorry. I never wanted to hurt anybody, but it's clear that I did, and I feel so terrible about that.
Okay. Okay, so that's her apology. There are no specifics. There are no names. There's also a lot of distancing between herself and the hurting of other people. I'm gonna run that back just a second so that you can hear what I'm talking about. Listen to the order of these words.
Here's what I want to say today. Over the last 15 years of my career, there have been moments where I was immature and inappropriate with some of my comedy, and there were times when I did not put enough thought into some of my fan interactions, and because of that behavior, people got hurt.
Because of that behavior, people got hurt. Not because of my behavior. And not saying who got hurt. And also not that that behavior hurt people. People just somehow became hurt. Okay? All right. We're not there. We're not even done.
And I am so sorry. I never wanted to hurt anybody, but it's clear that I...
Acting. I never wanted to... People don't talk like that. I went to school for theater. I've spent a lot of my life acting. I know acting when I see it. She's an actress. And she's acting. In my opinion. You know that.
I did, and I feel so terrible about that. People got hurt, and I am so sorry. I never wanted to hurt anybody, but it's clear that I did, and I feel so terrible about that. I also feel like there's probably people who are disappointed.
there's one iota of responsibility after she makes sure that we know that she didn't mean to hurt anybody. It's clear that she did, and she feels terrible about it. So the full sentence. Because of that behavior, people got hurt, and I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt anybody, but it's clear that I did, and I feel terrible about it. She can't put the two phrases that matter into the same sentence. Like, she can't just clearly say, I hurt people and I'm so sorry. She can't connect herself directly to the hurt and the apology. They have to be separate. It can't just... And again, remember how deep down in the hole she had dug herself with all of the racism, the sexualizing, the exposing kids to sexual shit before, like knowing they were kids. It's a child audience. You know the age, you know the demographics of your child or of your audience. You know, for 15 years on YouTube, you know the demographics of your audience is children and teens. Being just generally gross on YouTube and off in-person interactions and online interactions with people, and just like bullying people and being mean, allegedly. And she can't just like say that she did that. And I think that there's some legalities at play here. I think that there's some, if she takes responsibility for it fully, clearly, then I think that's why she can't get into specifics. I think that's why she can't name names, even though we all want that from her, because she's in self-preservation mode. She's in the, I have to do the very least to allow, whatever bridge I have to build, I have to do it so that I can come back to YouTube, so that I can start vlogging again, so that I can make money again. She's doing the very least here and distancing herself from what happened so that I think there's trouble if she admits to things, and there's trouble if she denies things. So she's kind of just saying something happened and whoopsie. So after 4 months, this is what we all get.
Or feel abandoned by me because of my silence. I also feel like there's probably people who are disappointed or feel abandoned by me because of my silence over the last few months. And I'm so sorry about that as well. I needed to take time to make sure I was listening and learning as much as possible. And
like I said, I'm pausing it a lot. So this part of the apology is an apology to her current fans and stans that have been waiting with bated breath for her return. If she was listening and learning as much as possible, this wouldn't be her comeback. I think that the people that she was listening to and learning from as much as possible was her lawyer.
I also needed to get the help that I needed to be okay. I'm a mom first and foremost before anything else, and I needed to take care of my kids. So that's where I've been, and but I'm back and I'm here now, and I am not a perfect person, and there are plenty of things in my past.
We're going to get to in my past in just a second. So she's planting the seed already that she has been suffering because she needed to be, do what she needed to do to be better, get better. Listen, cancellation or whatever you want to call this accountability culture that exists on the internet, it's not supposed to be pleasant for the person getting canceled. It's not supposed to be easy. I'm sure that she felt some distress while this was happening. But the connection I'm waiting for her to make is that everything bad that happens to Colleen Ballinger is Colleen Ballinger's own fault. Because of the choices that she made with the content she produced, because of the apologies that she refused to give, because of the content that she refused to take down after being made aware of how inappropriate it was, until the volume of the voices shouting at her to do so became so loud that she finally gave in just a few months ago, after 15 years of bullshit. She needed to be pushed up to the line of getting sued, possibly getting investigated, criminal or civil action, possibly losing everything in order to take down some very obviously bad videos. Some of them she just changed the title and the thumbnail, and the content is still there. And then others of it, forgot that whole point. And so taking down the content or changing the title and thumbnail to disguise it, and then make one bitter ass ukulele song video, and then this 2.5 to 3 minute glazed over, glossed over, bare minimum. Some shit really happened there, huh? Anyway, apology. You can bring a horse to water. Okay.
That I wish I could go back and redo, and I am not a perfect person, and there are plenty of
Sorry, that was the other thing. We're not looking for perfect. We're looking for not only listening to your ass kissers. We're looking for being able to take criticism and apologize when you objectively do something mean. That's really it. That's really it. That's really it. That's really it. I'm not sitting here trying to ruin anybody's life. I just want to be able to my goal on my channel, honestly, is to talk about hey, don't let your kids watch these people who market their problematic content to kids. That's the theme, apparently, of my channel after the Creepshow art stuff. That's kind of been the type of people that I ended up covering. But we're not doing this to make you suffer. We're not expecting you to be perfect. We're not trying to, we don't take joy from holding people's feet to the fire. But what we do is just point out things that we observe and say, hey, just so you know, this is offensive. Maybe please don't do that no more. And maybe take down the one that you already did because it's offensive. It's really, really not that bad. It's really not that hard. My channel is small. I've had my own criticisms, and you know what you do? You listen, you learn, you move forward. I don't, okay. We're not looking for perfect, baby.
of things in my past that I wish I could go back and redo, and
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. What's happening? Oh my God, wrong one. No. Sorry, this is some other path of research that I was headed down. Hold on 1 second, guys. I did not just close that, did I? I'm so sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. It's around here. I just have too many things open. Did it crash on me? 2. Oh my god, am I stupid? I really didn't think that I closed that. God above. Sorry, give me 30 seconds and it'll be back. Okay. Jeez Louise, guys. Sorry about that. We're back.
I am not a perfect person, and there are plenty of things in my past that I wish I could go back and redo and fix and change. I don't have control over any of that, and I don't have control over the things people say about me. I only have control over my actions moving forward. And so I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that I create a positive, kind, inclusive, safe space online with my content. And if you want to be a part of my journey online,
Remind us, Colleen, wasn't your slogan this whole time spread happiness, spread kindness, whatever, some kind of like platitude of exactly what you just said, being inclusive and kind and safe and whatever? And yet, privately, you were bullying your fans, bullying Trisha Paytas, doing a whole bunch of stuff, posting offensive shit online. I'll believe it when I see it, honey. There's and what is the best indicator of the future is the past or something, is the phrase is something like that. I have no reason to believe, based on your past actions and your past behavior, that the future is going to be any different. Feel free to prove yourself, but I just want you to know there's no reason for us to trust you at this point. You've got a steep uphill battle. And it starts with apologizing to people that so far you've not apologized to, privately or publicly. It starts with addressing things with specifics, which you're not doing and you have not done yet, and I don't know if you're ever going to. It starts with humility. And as much as you're, acting like that has happened here, the rest of us who are paying attention know that that's not the case. So.
I'd love to have you, and if not, I completely understand. Kind, inclusive, safe space online with my content. Mm-hmm. And if you want to be a part of my journey online, I would love to have you, and if not, I completely understand. I do not expect anyone to welcome me back with open arms. I don't expect to change anyone's mind with this video. I just wanted to come on here and say that I'm sorry, and I wanted to try to show people that it's possible for someone to grow and learn and be better after making mistakes many, many years ago. So that's what
Isn't that cute? Many years ago, she said. Cute, right? So she's given herself and her channel this new purpose of like, I'm here to prove that I can change, while also showing how little she has changed. In the same sentence, I can change from the things I did many years ago. This didn't happen many years ago. This was still going on several months ago. And honestly, as far as we know, behind the scenes, it may still be going on in some other group chat that she's formed with some other stans that they've managed to keep completely private and secure so that nobody knows about it. Like, we have no reason to trust that she's going to show us the change. Prove yourself if you want to, baby. But right now I'm saying we don't have a reason to think that you will, especially if you continue to be in this level of denial. It gets painful at a certain extent because it's like you really are either that manipulative or just that plain old ignorant. And I'm not. I have a theory as to which one of those it is, but if I was giving her the benefit of the doubt, I would say I don't know which one it is, but both are bad.
I'm going to better after making mistakes many years ago. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to vlog again, and today I'm just gonna film my day and share some simple happy moments and start the process of starting over. And I know it's going to be awkward and clunky at first as I try to get back into the swing of things, but I'm gonna try. So that's what I'm gonna do. And thank you for listening, and thank you to anyone who supported me in any capacity over the last 15 years. I've really appreciated it.
I love that direct quote of Toxic Gossip Train. Hold on, let me...
Yeah, let's get started with the day and see what happens, I guess. I honestly do not know how to transition from this conversation into a vlog, but let's try.
Or maybe don't, like maybe it feels weird because it is weird. That's just, I don't know if that's like kind of an out there idea, but like maybe it feels awkward because it is, that's just me. So yeah, the rest of this vlog is a combination of two things. First of all, so you'll see this was the first 3 minutes and 23 seconds of this video that she dedicated to some sort of whatever that was. So the rest of it she spends, first of all, trying to pull the audience in. It is very easy to get to the end of this vlog of hers, this 13 minutes and 30 seconds, and completely forget that this was the beginning. Because you get wrapped up in she's talking about her chickens, she's talking about her kids, she's talking about making cookies and finding rocks. She's very obsessed with rocks now because she's quirky and cool and not like the other girls. And she's relatable and she's fun and she's cute and she's endearing. And don't you want to watch her live her little weird little life? Wow, that's the kind of the overtone of the rest of this video is kind of reeling that audience back in, especially the young ones, especially the ones who don't pay that much attention to the internet or maybe have never been on Twitter. I don't know. The people who are convincible, the ones who are already stans or were maybe on the fence. I don't know how people can be on the fence with this situation, but like I said, I have this acquaintance who I don't know why, but she's still a fan, and she's an acquaintance. So that's the overtone, the main plot line, let's say, of the rest of this video. The subplot is her trying to gain your sympathy. First, so that overlay it's an advertisement for here's what I'm going to do for the rest of this channel. We're vlogging. It's wholesome. It's cute. It's chickens. It's cookies. It's rocks. Great. No children. That's the one plus I'll give her. And then the underscore of that, the undertone, the subplot is her talking about how much she's been through in the past few months, how much has changed in the past few months, how much therapy she's gotten. She has multiple therapists, according to her, how much she has been crying, how much she has just been, trying to make lemons out of lemonade kind of thing. So there's two different ways of getting that audience in. Either you're genuinely interested in her life and her content, that overtone, or you feel bad for her because of what the internet put her through when we all just randomly decided to attack her one day and just tell lies about her. It's one of those things where I get frustrated because the part of me that's used to being empathetic in my daily life and that's used to giving people the benefit of the doubt would like to say, she really looks like she might not be in an okay place. This vlog is very eerie. If you watch the whole thing, we're not going to watch the whole thing right now because you hear how much I'm talking and it's only been 3.5 minutes. But her house is very white. She's wearing white. It's a very clean, sparse space, which honestly, I think that she has said that she's diagnosed with ADHD. Very white spaces are just not the most conducive with the type of stimulation that an ADHD brain. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist. I'm just saying you want to set yourself up for success in your day-to-day life. And I feel like living in an empty void is not the way to do that. Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. I just kicked my microphone. Yeah. I feel like living in an empty void is not a way to set yourself up for success in accommodation of your own neurodiversity or whatever. Okay. But she's just this woman who's alone in a white void talking about chickens and rocks and making cookies alone at 10:30 at night. And it's real easy and talking about how much she's been crying and has been in therapy and has been trying to get better. And so it's easy to fall into that and be like, wow, you're sad or you're disturbed or something is going on. I do fear for her safety on a base human level because I'm I am seeing some things that make me concerned here for you. And I hope I do not wish any harm on her. Never have, never will. I hope that she is mentally fine. But like I said, that's the part of me that wants to be empathetic and wants to be, wants to take things for what they look like. However, the part of me that has learned that part of me is a little too strong sometimes, and needs to not be so gullible, is looking at this video and saying, what a manipulative video. And what a way to reel people back in under this guise of innocence when she didn't deny doing anything. The beginning of this video and the end of this video do not belong in the same video. But once you get through the beginning and kind of leave it behind and move into the chickens and talking about updates with the kids and the Halloween stuff that's still up in November and whatever, you forget, like I said, that the beginning of this video is her admitting in broad sense, but admitting to doing some mean things to a lot of people. So it's who are you actually? Who are we actually supposed to believe that you are? Because you're not denying what people are saying. You're broadly admitting to it. But you're also trying to pretend that even though you did those things, everybody is being mean to you and attacking you, and that you've been so wounded when you're the one who did stuff to them. Like, hello? So, I think I can. I don't think I need the screen share anymore. It's just like I feel bad for like her child fans who are watching this. I feel bad for like those people on the fence who may have been swayed by this video and by the follow-up video that she posted the next day of her like talking about rocks, which is also the weird thing about that video. Can I just say this follow-up video, let me go to her channel. Hold on. Shush. This follow-up video that she made, What I've Been Up To, where, as you can see, she's looking at a rock with great surprise. This was filmed on November 18th, which is the day that she posted this fall vlog video and got all of this attention back to her channel. And it's just so weird to know that in the back of my head and watch her spend 14 minutes talking about rocks. And maybe that's why she did it. Because, like, knowing her irreverent sense of humor and how unseriously she takes this whole thing that she caused, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense that she would follow up with such mundane, if not strange, content after the video where she's admitting broadly to doing things that people have accused her of. So it's just something. I'm gonna head to my notes and just, so this is kind of what I thought would happen. Where are we at? We're at an hour 20. Hi Grumpy. Hi Leisha. Hi guys. Thank you guys for jumping in. I just want to, while I was first watching this video through, the first way that I ever watch any of these videos is always through the lens of commentators, because, like I said, that empathetic side of me can be too big and too loud sometimes. So I need that critical. I need that like fat Sajak like laughing while Colleen is talking about fucking cookies and shit. I need that to ground me. But by now I've watched these clips, I've watched this video multiple times, and I've made, several observations. So I kind of wrote them out of order, but I'm putting them, I put them in my notes. I just want to make sure that I touched on everything that I wanted to. We touched on Rosanna. The video is still up. Oh yeah. So one thing that's weird to me, Colleen talks about, oh boy, hold on. My juice just like, this is actual being attacked. My juice just like attacked, like just jumped out of the straw and ran down my arm. Colleen has never experienced something so violating. I'm joking. Anyway, so that's fine. Just rub it in like lotion, Hannah. That'll help. Yeah. The way that Colleen talks about the situation of that she brought upon herself this June, she talks about it like it's not still going on. It is gonna be going on until she like apologizes. And I think this is what I mean by everything bad that happens to Colleen Ballinger, she brings on herself. She can close this book as soon as she wants to come forward with a genuine apology. This is the closest we're going to get. She's done. I think that somebody said this in the comments of my community post, and I agree with them, that she's going to pull an Illuminati, essentially, and have this one video that briefly mentions, yes, I am sorry. Okay, great. And then she moves on and just continues posting vlogs. Even stupid, pointless vlogs about nothing, like rocks. So just to like bury that content deep in her channel and get people focused on other things and get that revenue in, get that AdSense in. It's, AdSense off of a few, in the past couple days, she's gotten over 1 million views. That's not nothing. That's good money. Okay. And she needs it. Her channel's been dead for a while. She's gotten 16 million views off of Toxic Gossip Train, but those views must have been declining too. The trajectory of one video can only take you so far. So she needed that income. Oh God, I lost my point. Thank God I have my notes. Oh, she talks about everything like it's so far in the past. When she opens up this video and she talks about the Toxic Gossip Train video, she's saying, I was being accused of really awful things and I felt so mad. And she's talking about it in the past tense. I reacted poorly in that video. I'm embarrassed of it, whatever. I'm disappointed in myself for making that video. I was being accused of awful things. And I felt mad. As if she's not still being accused and as if she's not still mad. And then at the end of this video section, as I pointed out, she says, like, I'm going to grow and show you that I can grow and change from these things that I did many years ago. So she's just, again, trying to create so much distance between herself and the actions and even the time period of when these actions took place. And I just think that's worth noticing. Because we know that the reality is not that. The reality is she was doing this shit a few months ago. And she honestly, like I said, she could still be doing it now for all we know. The other thing is, she talks about it in this minimizing way, and she implies throughout this thing that, throughout this like opening section, even though she like broadly admits and apologizes for something, she still also acts like it's not true what people are saying. So she doesn't quite admit because she doesn't get specific. She doesn't quite deny because she doesn't say, I didn't do that. And I just want people to know who might defend Colleen that if the allegations against her were false, she could whip up a defamation lawsuit so fast. Do you understand? She's not suing Adam McIntyre because she can't, in my opinion, because what he's saying is true, in my opinion. You cannot look at his video of him scrolling through his Instagram account, not screenshots that were edited, but him live with his account scrolling on through and reading out conversations that they had. You cannot look at that and tell him that he's lying. People have been talking about legal implications. I keep thinking that some lawsuit is going to pop out of this somewhere, or some criminal charges. Who knows? FBI, if you want to get on that. Federal courts. There's stuff going on across state lines, just saying, if you want to. If these people were lying about Colleen, her reputation would have been so deeply tarnished that a defamation suit is just like the natural next course of action for someone Colleen's age, with her amount of money, with her, worldly wisdom, that, the wisdom that you have at 36-ish. I'm not saying that she's particularly wise, but just general life experience. You know that lawsuits are a thing. You know in general how they work, or at least you know that you have enough money to hire a lawyer to explain it to you and to carry that action forward. Like, you know what a defamation lawsuit is, and that you could sue somebody for lying about you publicly. And it doesn't even have to be as big as what Adam and Becky and Ella and all these other people are saying. It could be literally, you could sue somebody for defamation if they lie about you at like a meeting at your job. If there's like a group meeting at your job and somebody lies about you in a way that tarnishes your reputation, you could sue that person. The magnitude of the defamation lawsuit that Colleen could bring if Adam was lying is so far beyond that. And yet, she hasn't brought it. And to me, that speaks to the idea that she can't. So just keep that in mind. If any part of you is like, well, maybe Adam's exaggerating, maybe he's not telling the truth, maybe Becky's exaggerating, but no. Do you really believe in your heart that Colleen wouldn't have already bit that bait if she could have? Just saying. She is behaving in a way that makes me believe that what everybody is saying is true. What else? We talked about that. Oh, yeah. She said that she didn't mean to hurt anybody, but she was allegedly sending Trish's nudes to minors, and she was allegedly holding viewing parties where people would attend and watch Trish's content to make fun of it. And you were also making fun of your fans privately and publicly, especially Ella, claiming she was making up her illness in order to get close to Miranda, to Colleen. And how do you not mean to hurt somebody when you're doing that stuff, when you're abandoning Adam McIntyre, a 15-year-old, alone on the streets of Dublin without knowing that his parents were like there to take him wherever? I'm not believing the "I never intended to hurt anybody" line. I also think that, like, yeah, if she talks about being sorry, but she doesn't show any remorse. She emotionally says, like, I feel terrible about that, but she doesn't, like, do anything. It's really easy for somebody to say, oh, I feel so terrible. Oh, I'm so sorry. But, like, a show of remorse is more than that. Are you reaching out to individuals privately to apologize to them? Are you taking down the High video with the toxic gossip train? Why is Miranda Sings as a character still front and center in your Colleen Vlogs page when you've taken down so much of the Miranda Sings content because it was so problematic? But then this one channel that you are actually posting on, Miranda is still front and center. So are you sorry for the inappropriate content that you posted? A lot of it was under the Miranda character. You know? Also, why aren't you publicly calling off your armies that are attacking your victims who are speaking out against you? If you're sorry, if you're broadly admitting to doing things that hurt people, behavior that hurt people, then why aren't you telling your stans to back off? You know? Also, why aren't you staying offline? Because you do truly, like, you deserve some sort of punishment. Like, that's when you do wrong. Sometimes you need punishment or accountability or something to make up for righting the wrong and missing out on AdSense for Christmas, this one Christmas with your millions of dollars. I think you can do it. I think you deserve staying away, I mean, for a long, long time, but especially this holiday. I was looking forward to not having to deal with Colleen Ballinger stories over the holiday. I really was. Like I said, I really, really thought maybe she was gone. There's no semblance of accountability. You saying that you're sorry is not enough. We need proof that you actually feel that way. Besides, words are not enough. I'm sorry. At this point, no. What else? Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm surprised that she knew this video was going to get torn to shreds and analyzed and picked apart. I'm just surprised that this is what she put out. Like I said, it speaks to no remorse. It speaks to not actually taking this seriously. And it also, like I said, it speaks to me wondering like if she's okay. Because I know she's in therapy. I know she's doing a lot of therapy. She has a lot of therapists, according to herself. I think that she still either doesn't get the gravity of what's going on, or she gets it, possibly to an extent that's unhealthy for her. And she's desperately manipulating her way back onto YouTube. And I hope it doesn't work. But I've hoped a lot of things over my months on YouTube that have just not happened. Speaking of things I hope for, I hope that people stop paying attention to her. This return is embarrassing. I think that she's also choosing to make it more embarrassing than it needs to be, such as posting a video where she's talking about rocks for 14 minutes. I think she's trying to make a show of how hurt and impacted she is by everything that she's gone through, by how much she's suffered being offline for a few months, like most people, like most human beings on the planet don't have YouTube channels with millions of subscribers. So, living a normal life, a normal stay-at-home mom life, she's suffering and she's making a show of it. She's begging for attention. She's desperate. Just please don't give it to her. Please don't watch her content unless you're in my opinion, this is what should be done. Unless you're watching it through the lens of a commentator. I just don't feel, first of all, I don't think that she deserves the AdSense money, but I also don't feel that it's healthy for her to, like, with the way that she has talked. Again, I've done a lot of research that I haven't actually ended up putting to use because I decided not to do the timeline video, but like the way that she parasocially relates to her audience to such an intense degree is not healthy. The way that she uses the camera and uses her fans for emotional support and stuff, it's not healthy. She needs not to be online. She needs not to have more of this attention and have more of this hold over people. Stay away for your own benefit. Also for hers. If you care about her, which I understand if you don't, but I care just a tiny bit. And I don't think it's healthy for her, the relationship that she has with the internet. And I hope, she has therapists, and the therapists, one of the exercises they were having her do was vlogging without posting the vlogs during the time that she was offline to kind of get her used to not being online and talking to people frequently, because she has been vlogging in some way, shape, or form for 15 years. She was talking about this. And so it was like a way to cope, I guess, with not having an audience, still making content, even if she never posted it. I am curious for the opinions of any mental health professionals, psychology professionals in my audience, either here in the live chat or in the comments, as to what you think is the benefit of that for Colleen, because like I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a nothing, I'm just a lady. And like I'm looking at it and I'm saying I feel like she has an unhealthy relationship with the internet. I don't know if trying to get her to continue in that mindset is good. You know, like I would think that the more like a mental health focused exercise would be maybe not vlogging for a while. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Or I don't know if maybe it's just another thing that she says that's like to make us feel pity for her. But like just don't watch. Just don't watch this stuff. She's doing something to people, and or she's going through something, and either way, it's not good. Don't give her the attention. It's only going to harm in some way, shape, or form, in my opinion. Yeah. Also, I'm extremely disappointed in YouTube for not banishing her earlier. In the words of Trisha Paytas, famously. YouTube has really shown their true colors with this situation, and boy, it makes me just like not want to do what I do anymore here on YouTube, because it's like, again, how far do people have to go for them to take action? Colleen is one of thousands, if not tens of thousands of creators with millions of followers and who make YouTube a decent amount of AdSense. She does not need to be kept around when she's so damaging to her audience. She, like, directly to her audience. It's not even in like a broad potential sense of like, well, this could be offensive to somebody somewhere, or like this could be a bad example for blah, blah, blah. No, she's like directly communicating with fans. She's on tour. She's visiting with them in person and abandoning them on the street in Dublin. She's visiting with them in person, inviting them up onto her stage in her show and spreading her legs in front of the world. She's not just online. She has direct relationships with her fans, clearly, and she's misusing them, clearly, and I don't know why that's not enough for YouTube, but it's just grossly disappointing at this point. It's like, what do we need? The Ruby Frankie situation, thank God they did something about her, but Colleen caused an even larger firestorm in the media for YouTube. But because there was no arrest, because there was no injured children, which is interesting because there are injured children, but they're mentally injured, so YouTube, it doesn't count as far as YouTube is concerned. They may have mental problems, they may all be in therapy, but because they're not in the hospital, YouTube seems not to care to take down the person who inflicted that harm on them. Right? You know, I don't take the excuse that they're money hungry. That's not enough for me. I know that, you know, my category of YouTube, you know, we're more about informing the audience than we are necessarily, I guess, about actually helping anything to happen. But I guess that also brings me to, like, the one thing that we can take away from this is, sure, she's back. Sure, she's back at it, manipulating her situation and making herself seem like some kind of a victim when she's actually the aggressor that the victims are speaking out against. people can continue to watch Colleen Ballinger if they want to at this point. I can't control that. I can give my opinion and give the conclusions that I have come to based on the research I have done, but I can't stop anyone from clicking on watching one of her videos. But at least now, everybody knows who Colleen Ballinger really is. And I hope that that is some solace to the people who were directly impacted by her, to people like Adam, Becky, Ella, Alex, other, people who have come and gone through, experienced a couple of things. Johnny is who I'm talking about. He did have at least one bad experience of being on the tour. And I hope that they feel that it was worth it for them to share their stories and their trauma, because by doing so, they have exposed Colleen Ballinger in a way that never would have happened had they not spoken up. And people are so much more informed. People are so much more aware. People are so much more cautious now. Does she have a remaining core fandom? Yes, everybody does on this platform. But I think that now people can be much more educated and can make a much more educated choice about whether or not they want to click on Colleen's videos, buy her merch, go to her tours, or whatever she does in the future. And at the end of the day, that's what we can do. We are not police. We are not, some of us on YouTube are lawyers, but we can only do what we can do. Like Colleen says, we can only control what we can control. Nice therapy language coming through there. And they have done such an incredible service to the YouTube community by sharing their stories. Even if the ending result is not what we would have hoped for, it's still, I hope they can feel that it was something productive and worthwhile. People know now. The secrets are all out, and sorry, there's dishes banging around downstairs. My fiance is home. I just hope that they feel that win. They're all in therapy and they're getting better. And I hope, Oliver, that's the person whose name I was trying to remember. Oliver. I'm so sorry. Oliver is in therapy. Becky's in therapy. Adam is in therapy. A lot of the larger names that we've heard about over these past few months. And I hope that as they have their own individual healing journeys, they know that they can outgrow and outlive this drama. Colleen will be stuck with it forever. They told the truth. And again, it's all just evidence that everything bad that happens to Colleen Ballinger is her own fault. It's stuff that she did, and she's living with the consequences, and we're all educated about it now. So, hats off to them. Thanks to them for sharing. And I'm sure that Adam is going to continue to share as Colleen continues to upload. Maybe. I don't know. It might be in his best interest and in his best health not to. And that's fine too. If he's ready to move on, God bless, move on. Leave this woman behind you. You don't need to keep her in your mind. Okay, so I'm going to take a pause at this moment. I have more in my outline of stuff that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Eric and Colleen's relationship starting while Eric was Colleen's employee. I wanted to talk about Oliver's story. And then there was one other thing that I wanted to talk about Corey having a lot more responsibility in this than people are giving him credit for. And I wish that more people would yell about him. But before I do that, let me look at the comments, and try to, if there are any questions that people had asked. Rhapsody might have had to go. Yeah, Adam has done a couple of videos talking about Corey. I was honestly surprised that there weren't even more. Thank you, Disney. Yeah, Adam has done a couple, and there's been conversations on the Colleen Ballinger Snark subreddit about, every now and then people will bring up the question of like, why aren't we talking about Corey more? And I think like the general consensus tends to come down to, because we're trying to focus on Colleen. Her name is on the channel. It's her character. He's working for her and with her for her, benefit. But I get wanting to focus on Colleen as the figurehead of this whole machine, because it's Colleen's family too. Trent Ballinger is a huge problem with Oliver's story. But I just remember the video that I made about Colleen Ballinger a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, and the clips that I showed of that gross fake kids show that they did that was like a satire of a kids show. Corey was the one coming up with a lot of those gross jokes and gross references in the moment. Like, that was a moment where Colleen was essentially playing the straight man and Corey was it's in a comedy sense. In a comedy sense, you have the character who's like the straight, like the taking everything seriously. And then you have the other character who's the one that's making the jokes, essentially. And it's like the contrast with the straight character is what makes the comedy appear funny, essentially. I'm using comedy terms, not orientation terms. But that's essentially what was happening. Colleen was the straight man, and Corey was the one making all the jokes. And God, if they weren't disgusting, okay? I couldn't sit through all those clips. I put them in my video, but I couldn't sit through them. And that's why my video got demonetized too, by the way. So thank you so much for that, Corey and Colleen. Also, YouTube, did you demonetize those videos on Colleen's channel? Because they're still up. So, just saying. Corey comes up with a lot of this shit. And it's gross. And it's offensive. And he's part of it. And he's been part of it for the whole 15 years. So I really do get particularly pissed with, remember with my Creepshow art coverage, I made sure that I mentioned Anthony's name a lot during that video because he was just as involved as Shannon. Shannon was public, but Anthony was doing shit privately, okay? Same thing with Colleen and Corey. Corey is just as involved in a lot of this shit as Colleen. Corey had his own group chat called Corey's KLIT, okay? Where he would send these love-bombing, manipulative messages, voice messages in to try to get his little group to go do shit. It's a lot. And I feel like Corey's not receiving the repercussions. I'm honestly shocked that he was able to get hired after apparently no longer working with Colleen. He's in some musicals over here on the East Coast. I don't know why his reputation wasn't bad enough, but I don't put it past theater people not to look into people's background before they hire them to be in their show. So, Corey is a problem. If you're following Corey, unfollow his shit too. Don't forget, Colleen, in my opinion, could not have done everything that she's done and come this far in her career without Corey living with her, even while she was married, and editing her videos and doing all of that stuff for her. The amount of content that she creates, if she was also editing all of it, she just wouldn't be able to do it. Like, Peter Mon posts like 6 videos a day on his 6 different channels or whatever, but he doesn't edit his videos. So that's a little bit easier to do, but that's still like, he's a very energetic guy if he's pulling that off. Colleen has like 3 or 4 different channels that she runs with Colleen Vlogs, Miranda Sings, Miranda Vlogs, and then for a while, of course, she was working on the TV show with Netflix. She was like, and all the various, you know, the Instagram account, the Twitter, the TikTok, all the various branches of her universe. She can't, it's hard. Like I said before, it's hard. It's hard to do all that on your own. So, there is no way. It is not possible that she could have done all of that consistently for 15 years without somebody like Corey being just as dedicated to her success and putting in just as much time and work, to the extent that it kind of seems like he like has never gone and like started his own life and like met his own partner and like done his own, you know, lived his own life. His life has been Colleen. I don't know why. I don't think that she deserves that from anybody, but also it makes sense that of all people, it would be Corey, who's just as gross as her. So can we not forget the person standing by her side and enabling her all the way through this process? Like, he's not even a background character. He is like the co-star of a lot of her content. It is not subtle that he's part of her channel and he's doing her work for her. So, like, I appreciate that Adam has done a couple of videos about Corey. I think that maybe what has happened is that Adam has the loudest voice, I think, out of everybody. He has like the largest platform, I guess is what I mean. So I think that he has had less direct interactions with Corey than he has had with Colleen. So he has been able to talk the most about Colleen and not as much about Corey. Because, like, you know, if he's done 2 videos on Corey, he's done like 40 videos on Colleen recently, let alone over the past few years. So that's the only thing that I can think of as to why, like, there's less attention toward Corey, because Adam is focusing his attention toward Colleen because I think that's who he's had more actual interactions with. But people need to talk about Corey because he's a big, gross problem. And he's just as old as Colleen, just as should know better by now, and just as problematic. Ooh. Okay, but she does have some weird kind of fascination with gay men. You're right, Grumpy. And Grumpy was talking about something else. Where Grumpy had said, didn't she call him her soulmate? I believe that they are, like, personality soulmates. Obviously, they're, you know, Corey's gay, but I believe that part. And then as far as the fascination with gay men, I have a conspiracy theory for this, but it's not even a conspiracy theory. It's a cultural thing that I think has to do with her coming out of, in my opinion, I believe that she was raised in an extremely sheltered, fundamentalist Christian environment. I would call it a cult because I grew up in a fundamentalist Christian cult. So I know it when I see it. And part of it is when you're just so not exposed to anything, or when you're like preached at so hardcore about something just being straight out evil growing up, then when you meet somebody who is that thing that you've been taught is evil, in this case being gay, you have a lot of beginner level questions, is kind of the nicest way to say it, about who they are and how that works and how it's not evil. And again, this is why I was having a hard time with talking about this, because this is where I feel like, am I projecting? Is this more of a me thing than it is a Colleen thing? Because this is talking about back at the beginning when she first met Corey. And the beginnings of a fundamental misunderstanding or lack of understanding about anybody besides straight people, because of how she grew up. I do have evidence on that. That's, if you guys are interested, we can talk all about the fundamentalist upbringing and my theories surrounding that. I think it'll need to be in another stream because my voice is starting to go. But let me know if you're interested in talking more about that, because that was a lot of what I was gonna the thing is, I was gonna come to this stream before she came back, right? Friday. The stream I was gonna do on Friday before she posted her video on Saturday, when it looked like she had been offline for like 5 months. Maybe she's actually taking the hint. Maybe she's not coming back. Maybe she's learning something. Who knows? Was kind of my thought process. And so I was looking into her history and I was like, I think it's interesting to just put out there that she experienced this religious trauma growing up. And I believe that Corey did too, because of the college that they went to was this, where they met was this very conservative, fundamentalist Christian college. And you don't send a gay kid to a Christian college unless at the time they're not out to their family. And so the family thinks they're, a good Christian boy who is straight and is, living not their truth, They met in that environment. I think there was a moment where like they came out to like Corey. She talked about Corey coming out to her, and I think that she grew up in that very culty environment, very sheltered, and at the same time that she was raised in this particularly strict way, I think that she didn't buy the bullshit all the way. Not that I'm calling Christianity bullshit. I'm going through a lot of deconstruction is what it comes down to. I'm 6 or 7 years younger than Colleen. So the deconstruction takes a very long time. And there are habits that you carry over from growing up in a cult that you don't realize are habits that are related to the cult. So every time I find another one of those, it makes me madder at the cult. So I say things like bullshit, because not that Christianity in and of itself as a faith is bullshit, but the way that it can be applied, there are some ways Christianity can be applied that are bullshit. So I think that some of those things are things that Colleen did not buy. And so when she was in college, I think she had to come to terms with, I don't think this is for me. At least not to the extent that it is for her family members like Jessica and Chris and the whole Ballinger family vlog family. They are very into it based on some evidence that I have seen. So, and not that any of this excuses anything, but like when it comes to like a fascination with gay men or a fascination with anything really that she didn't experience growing up, which is most things when you grow up super sheltered and in a cult. I said this in a comment on a YouTube video a while ago, back when this was going on, but like you go through this period either in college or in whenever you leave the cult environment. You go through this culture shock experience where you learn things as an adult that you should have been allowed to learn as a kid. When you're a kid and you're asking weird, fucking inappropriate questions, it makes more sense because you're a kid and because you don't know anything about anything, because you're a kid and kids are idiots. Not on purpose, but just because they don't know anything about anything. So, similarly, when you're coming out of a cult, there are parts of your development that are at a kid level. And so, sorry, my fiance and my cat are having a a disagreement downstairs. All this to say, like, yeah, there's a lot of awkwardness. And she put all that awkwardness online. All of that, like, should she have known better by now? Like the stuff she should have known by whatever age that she didn't know, that's all online. And again, not to excuse, because again, you should be receptive to criticism. You should be receptive to the audience saying, hey, that's not good. And you should know that that's not good. Then that's when you look at yourself and you say, ooh, I should know that. And then you take it down. You need to have the wherewithal to understand that you come from a different upbringing than other people. But I think that she's so lacking in empathy and so self-focused that she doesn't understand why the things that make sense to her don't make sense to other people, or the way that she sees them don't make sense to other people. And that's what I'm trying my best not to do with my own deconstruction. So yeah, I could go on about that for a long time, because that's a good amount of the research that I did, because I didn't get all the way through the timeline. And because I have my own experiences to share about the cult side, the fundamentalist side of Christianity, and like that whole upbringing. But again, this is where I was saying at the beginning that I was worried that I was projecting too much onto Colleen. And so I'm treading very lightly, and I'm trying not to talk too much about that unless you guys are particularly interested in it, because there's a lot of assumptions that I'm making, and there's a lot of speculations that I have to make, because I wasn't there when I'm not part of her family, thank God, but I can see fingerprints. I can see evidence. I can see stuff that makes sense coming from my perspective of the environment that I was brought up in, and the culture that fundamentalist Christianity and fundamentalist Christian cults are. I can see it. I know it when I see it, like I said. So it's one of those things where you just have to trust me. And depending on how much you trust me, it depends on how much you want to hear my opinion on this side of it, And I understand if it's like not necessarily what you're looking for. But so all that to say, that's why she asks some friggin' ignorant shit about gay people and all sorts of shit. Because if you, just add on top of that completely sheltered upbringing ignorance, and then add on top of that the general like white privilege ignorance, the level of ignorance we're talking about here, not her fault, because she didn't ask to be born into a family with these beliefs and to be raised in this environment. She didn't ask to be ignorant. But you also have to have the humility to understand, like, there are things about the world that I don't learn, or that I didn't learn, and that I don't know, and that I need to learn. And that's what I've tried to do. And it's been things that I didn't know that I didn't know. And it's messy. It's freaking messy. And she put a lot of that mess online. And then there's an added sting to, not only did I not know this thing and I'm embarrassed about not knowing it, but I didn't know it in front of millions of viewers. So, yeah. Anyway, so the fact that she's not willing to learn over at least a decade of being called out repeatedly is the problem. The not being willing to do that learning offline as well is the problem. All of this, the speculation that I can do, the connections that I can see about her upbringing, by now, because she's 36 or something, she shouldn't still be doing that shit. Like, deconstruction takes a while. Acclimating to a different culture takes a while. But you have to do it. That's it. It's not fun. And it's messy. And you have to be open to criticism and receptive to new information that you didn't know. And I think that she is lacking enough in empathy, and she is self-focused enough that those are just things that she couldn't do, or that she chose not to do. And that's part of, not the only reason, but one part of the elaborate puzzle that leads us to where we are today. Yeah, many moons ago, I said that I was going to answer questions. So let me go back to that. Thank you, Disney Dame, for pulling these up. Rotten Ralph, whose playbook is she using? How calculated is the placement of the comeback on her vlog? Right, so we talked about, the one thing I forgot to mention is that it was after Rosanna Pansino had spoken out, and Adam had spoken about Rosanna and had talked about his own healing. What I forgot to mention was that also it was published on Josh's wife's birthday. So there are a lot of elements playing into like why that was a particularly interesting day for her to post. And of course the AdSense boost at this time of year. So I don't know whose playbook that is, but it is a playbook. It's not by accident, in my opinion. What do you think about her coming back? Why come back at all when she could live comfortably? Well, I've given a lot of thoughts so far. Why come back at all? I think she doesn't know what else to do. It's the only thing that I can think of. And I think she's going to do like Illuminati and just keep doing what she does and put up with a substantial amount of hate until the hate dies down and the voices go away. And then, because YouTube generations take about 3 years. So there's this 2023 call out cancellation, taking a influencer vacation, coming back, apologizing, quote unquote. And then she'll just flood her channel with content, daily vlogs until it's stifled. And this is far enough in the past that new people will find her who have no idea about it. Young people who are just joining YouTube, or people just from other communities. They're into gaming, they're into arts and crafts, they're into like some other thing, and they're into rocks apparently, because now she's into rocks, and so she's going to gain a rock audience. I don't know. Yeah. I think it's the only thing that she knows how to do, or that will maintain her lifestyle monetarily. What about her brother? We will talk about that in just a second. How about that? I do want to talk about Trent and Oliver, and I'm going to get there when I'm done with this round of questions. Have we heard anything from double agents in her chats? What about Corey's chats? I don't know personally. I'm not in direct contact with any of these people. But Adam McIntyre did. And like, for example, there was that day when Adam was talking about stuff that was going on in he was live. He was streaming on Twitch talking about Corey and stuff that was going on in his group chats. And Corey must have been watching, because he posted an Instagram story about like showing somebody saying, I was almost 18 at the time. I knew what I was doing. I wasn't a minor. I was a consenting adult when I was in this group chat with Corey. And then Adam saw it on stream and was like, noticed that Corey was posting about it and was like, dude, your own comment says I was almost 18. So what does that mean? He did that microphone thing that he does. So how old is almost 18? 17. Minor. What's an adult? 18. What's almost 18? Not 18 yet. And like did that whole thing. So there are people certainly who are monitoring multiple sides of this coin. I don't personally have any ins with those people, but I'm very curious about them. Glad that they exist. We need them. Thank you, Disney. Oh, hey, Sammy. Yes, this is live right now. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening to me when I'm talking about the fundamentalist stuff, because it's stuff that is like really hard to understand if you're not part of it. Like, thankfully, there's not a ton of people who have grown up in a cult, so, and that's a good thing. For people who do, being understood by others is a process, and I think it takes others a lot of grace and a lot of suspension of disbelief to believe and to like listen and hear and believe that indeed I did not know X. I did not watch this growing up. I did not go to do X activities. I did not think this way, or like I did not, like the way that I am now is a completely different person than who I was growing up. So I have a lot of, cringe when I look back on my early to mid 20s, because that was when a lot of my growing pains happened, and like, thank God I was not online during that time. So I appreciate you giving me the time and attention on that. I do want to move on. Let's do a little pivot to Oliver, because his story needs more attention. I already yelled about Corey a bit. The last thing I want to say about Corey. Hold on. The last thing I want to say about Corey. So remember how I said way back at the beginning that I have an alternative theory about Corey now that he has moved to like Massachusetts, I think it is, here on the East Coast, and he's doing theater. And yet, either way, Colleen is coming back to YouTube without him. It seems, right? It seems like, unless he's working remotely, he could be, but he's not going to be in her videos if he's living over doing touring theater in New England. So, I think it's possible that Colleen may have convinced herself that Corey is the reason for her downfall, because she knows, as well as I do, as well as many fandom members do, that Corey has been deeply intertwined with her content, with her channels, with her character development ever since the very beginning. He was by her side, enabling her, kikiing with her, gossiping with her, making fun of fans with her since the start. And only with this most severe of circumstances has he suddenly disappeared. So, I think that that's because because do you see Colleen taking a lot of blame on herself in this video, in her comeback? Have we ever seen Colleen taking a lot of blame on herself for anything ever? She had to find somebody to blame, because obviously something was wrong. And if she doesn't believe that it's herself, who else has been there all along? So I believe that there's at least a possibility that Corey fell on the sword or was pushed onto the sword by Colleen. And that may be the only way that Corey was able to, that may have been the only way that Colleen was able to handle coming back, because in her mind, she can always lay the blame on somebody else. She's still the leader. She's still the captain of this ship. She's still in charge. She's still kept him around for 15 years. Like, if that's really what she thinks. And I don't know. I'm speculating. I'm assuming. I'm jumping to some conclusions here, you know? But if that's really what she thinks, then if that's really what she thinks, she won't be able to ever accept responsibility for this, because she'll always have somebody in her mind to shirk it off onto instead. And so this is just like another inroad of denial that she has dug herself down into. In my opinion, it's my conspiracy theory, absolutely. But it is just odd to me that Corey would suddenly be gone after 15 years. And after, by the way, this is not the first cancellation. This is the biggest and the longest lasting one. But to me, or at least I just, that's what I think. That's what I think. It's a conspiracy. It's a theory. I don't know. So just tack that on to the end of whatever Corey thoughts I had before. Now, additionally, let's discuss Oliver and Trent, who is Colleen Ballinger, older brother, I believe older. She's one of, I think, four kids: Chris, Trent, Rachel, and herself. I may be wrong. I didn't, like I said, I got into certain parts of the research, but not a ton. So, I want to bring attention to this story. And again, I feel like at this point, people who are still paying attention to the Colleen story, or who are, for example, still watching this stream this far in, thank you so much for being here. Like the stream, I really appreciate your time and attention. And, refill your drink. We still got a little ways to go. People who are this far into the Colleen lore know who Oliver is and know what happened with Oliver and Trent. But it's just worth repeating. Like what happened, at the beginning of this stream, I went through the list of shit that she has to try to free herself from, because it's significant. If she's trying to apologize for such disgusting acts with such I'm sorry that somehow something that I did may or may not have hurt you at some point. It doesn't add up. It's not equal. They're not the same level of taking it seriously. And Oliver has gotten nothing from Trent or Colleen this whole time. Oliver has gotten a lot of nothing. Evangelina Skov recently interviewed Oliver for a video, and that I think that was within about a month ago by now. Where is it? So if you want some recent information about Trent, it's the interview that they do is it's not a ton different from the actual tweet thread that Oliver posted, but there's some additional context that he adds, and also, hearing him talk about it in his own voice instead of things being typed out on Twitter and stuff. It's powerful. It's impactful. I'm very glad that Evangelina did this. So hats off, Evangelina. Great video. I hope that you guys watch it. It's an interview with Oliver, as well as, telling the story. But for the sake of, I don't want to, just show you Evangelina's video. I do hope that you go watch it. I'm going to go directly back to the source and look at the tweet thread of Oliver posting screenshots of what Trent said to them, because it is it speaks for itself. Let's say that. So just 1 second while I pull it up. Whoa. I wanted this to go to the other tabs that I had open. 1 second, friends. And now my cat is sad because my fiance left to run an errand. So that's going on in the background. Just letting you know. All right. And I love the way that Oliver starts this off. Thread of things Trent Ballinger, a man in his 30s, sent to me when I was 13 to 14. This was from June 8th, 2023. So, and it's screenshots all the way. Gray would be Trent, obviously. Just don't share our conversation with anyone. Anything we talk about stays between you and I. Oliver, interested because of the connection to Colleen, right? That's the whole thing with people talking to Trent. They were not particularly interested in Trent, but they knew that Trent was connected to Colleen. So they're networking, trying to get their way to have a relationship with Colleen because they're 13 to 14-year-old children. And if they can be friends with someone they look up to, that seems like a really good, fun idea, right? So Oliver responds, oh, okay, don't worry. Trent says thanks. Oliver tweets, I wish I would have known how wrong it was at the time. Exactly, not aware, because 13 to 14, young and dumb. I'm told not to talk to people under 18, Trent says. I do so just to spread positivity, so yeah. Oh, I don't see anything wrong with talking to people that are under 18. Who said that? You really do spread positivity, and I love it. And Trent says family. So here we see some evidence from Trent's own, mouth, essentially, texts that his family, which includes Colleen, potentially, Rachel, Jessica, Chris, their parents, who knows? I mean, they're old enough at this point. They're probably not living with their parents, but his family wants him to stop talking to people under 18. So by the time of talking to Oliver, Trent was doing it enough that it had been a problem that his family was telling him to stop. So he had been doing it. Oliver says, and I think Vangelina says in the video that they did together, that Oliver is not the only one that Trent has talked to under the age of 18, and that makes sense. Just based on just this text message is really, really not good. Oliver, he knew my age. Trent says, you don't look bi, so I'm in head tilts. Hold on, I'll move it over like that. Whoa, hold on. Sorry. Here we go. Sorry about that. You don't look bi, so I'm in head tilts. Oh, I don't? But yeah, I think I am. Why do you think you are? IDK, I just don't think I'm straight, I guess. Just be honest with yourself. You're young, you don't have to label yourself yet. You are very right. Yeah, I don't really want to completely label myself yet, but I guess the closest thing I am to is being bi. Trent, why you think that? Curious why. I don't know. I guess why would I think I'm straight? At this point, I just don't really know what I am, but I'm questioning. How old are you? 13. As of August 3rd, 2018, 13. Yeah, I wouldn't question it yet, Peapod, which is the nickname. We'll get to that. Trent ends with, night, don't let the sexuality bite. Ay, yay. Oliver says, It's okay, you're gonna grow up doing what you love and probably fade away from me. Weird that that Trent feels they have a strong enough connection that Oliver could fade away from, you know? Like I said, it speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. Trent, P.S. You should come to the Orange Show. Oliver, OMG, I wish I could. My mom said I can't go to California. Why not? Because she doesn't really like California. I don't know why. I love it and I've always wanted to go. And it's really far since I live in Pennsylvania. Yeah. Hello. What's wrong with Cali? My mom really hates traffic. Trent's inviting people, like children from across the country, to come to the show. And then surprised when they can't make it. Yeah, but when I'm an adult, I really want to fly out to California by myself. How long do you have to go? The earliest I could go would be summer of 2023. I'll be 18. Oliver just turned 18. Like, happy fucking 18th birthday to Oliver. The summer of 2023, this year. This is what he had to go through. Like, poor guy. I just feel bad. But it might have to be 2024 or later, sadly. And then there's like a, I don't know, suspicious face or a thinking face. Or I don't know. How old will you be? In November? Yep. Almost 14 at that point. 4 more years to go. Counting down to when Oliver will be able to transport himself to California. He was always sending pics of me to me, especially this pic. I think I made you pop out more, Peapod. Sorry. Some of these I might not enjoy reading out loud. Oh my God. Why does it keep doing that? Just to be honest. Some of them are a little much. To think of those pics being in his camera roll now. So it's this one where he has like the sunglasses, and then this one with Peapod, the nickname that Trent gave him, and little. Oh, and let's not forget the time he told me I looked like his ex-girlfriend, because that's normal to tell a 13-year-old girl. Or 13-year-old, yeah. At the time, Oliver identified as female. So there's a GIF from Trent to Oliver. A little keyboard smash. You kind of look like my last GF in that GIF. So at some point, they must have been video chatting, or there must have been some video communication where Trent could record and create a GIF. Weird. Hello? Again, Oliver is at this point, may have turned 14 by now, because it sounds like their birthday is like late in the year. Oliver, if I wanted to take a break from Twitter, he wasn't having it. Sorry if I don't respond that fast. I'm trying to kind of take a break from Twitter. Why? IDK just felt like a break might be kind of good for me, or just limiting my time on Twitter. Nah. Like, I love that Ollie is so, like, mental health aware at, like, 14, 13 years old. And Trent just isn't having it. But, like, good for Oliver, knowing that there are benefits to taking a break from Twitter. Because you wouldn't do these things. OMG, you still have that? Yeah, I would. I just think it's best for me to limit my time on Twitter for just a bit. Not more than just a few days. Just kind of for a refresher and just for my mental health, I guess. Like, he's saying, I'm having a hard time right now with my mental health. I need a break. And Trent's like, no, you can't. Okay. That's a thrill and a half, isn't it? I'd also be scared every night I'd accidentally forget not to tweet after I told him goodnight, because if he saw me on Twitter, he'd feel like I had lied to him. It was very stressful. A little bit stalky. A little bit. He never wanted me to go to sleep. There's examples of that. This thread is linked in my document that is linked in my description of this stream, and it will be in the edited video version of this too. So You can look through all of them in detail, or if you just go to Oliver's Twitter, it's like pinned, I think, right near the top. But I think I'm not going to go through all of these in detail because, again, they're weird and creepy, and I feel weird saying them out loud. So exactly, in what world is a grown man talking about a 13 and 15-year-old having sex okay, and to the 13-year-old? So those are some that I'm not going to read because they're weird. They're all weird, though. And, like, poor Ollie had to read them at age 13. What are you like in person? IDK, kind of similar to how I am on the internet, with my internet friends. But if it's with people at dance or just kids I don't know, I'm usually anxious and awkward, lol. So the opposite sometimes. With me, how do you think you'd be around me? If you're doing South California, come hang out with me, lol. Come hang with me, lol. I probably will in a couple years, but I'll be going with my dad. How old will you be? At least 14, most likely 15 to 17, though. Oh, yeah. I want to move to Southern California when I'm an adult, though. LA or San Diego or San Francisco. Somewhere in Southern California. So LA or SD, San Diego. Hey, you are cute. Just the possibility that somebody might be moving to Southern California in like 4 to 8 years. Time to flirt. So there's more. You can text me anytime. We'll listen to you without judgment. You mean DM? Yeah, haha, thanks. No, text. There's Trent's phone number if you need someone to talk to. And if Twitter is not there and just need someone there, and no, school and life is tough. Hey, I really appreciate it, but I don't feel like it's appropriate for me to text you, and I don't think my mom would want me to either. I'm really sorry. So Oliver, the, at this point, 14-year-old, is setting the boundaries with Trent, the 30-something-year-old. And so there's more examples of just generally creepy behavior, sending pictures of romantic moments, we'll say. He would call me his little pea pod, not sure where it came from. He would also DM me at random times with pea pod themed images. It seemed like he was always thinking of me even when we weren't talking. He was referring to video chatting in this. Don't eat chips, don't know what that's about. It says pea pod a million times in these. There's conversation related to sex. He always seemed really concerned about my sexuality. I feel like this isn't the best example, but I think I already posted other screenshots, which he has by now. Did you tell your mom? I probably will tomorrow. Why do you think you're gay? IDK, because I think I am. I don't think you are yet, lol. It would be the same if I were to ask a straight person why they're straight, or why they think they are. I know that. So, it's just, there's such boundary crossing behavior. Such boundary crossing behavior. And this is also the type of thing where it's like, you don't need to, like, it should be obvious that you shouldn't be asking these kind of questions to a kid that is you don't know. Even to your own, like, family members, like a younger cousin or niece or nephew or something, it would still be weird. But especially a stranger. I'm just seeing you as a young girl who hasn't got there yet for big labels. I'm not really labeling myself yet. I just want to tell my mom I think I'm not straight. IDK what I am, though. Well, it doesn't hurt to communicate with mom that early on. Unless she goes, you're not my daughter, and kicks you out on the street. But I think you're fine. It's not like you're bringing a girlfriend in the next day. Yeah, I think my mom wouldn't react negatively or anything. Yeah, right, exactly. I'm still really nervous to tell her, but we're so close. I feel like I should. Like, and that's good. I'm glad that Oliver has a good relationship with his mom. Like, I feel like Trent is trying to, like, imply some division that's not even necessarily there. Some, like, divisiveness. And it's, like I said, it speaks for itself. It's obviously inappropriate behavior. Sorry, my throat is really itchy. Excuse me. Do you want to have your own kids? Maybe. I always thought I want to have kids. Why are you talking about having kids? Some information about cutting his I'm sure unsolicited opinions on Oliver cutting their hair. Yay, something about Colleen saying something about vaginas, which on brand. Sending innuendo pictures. It's just a lot. And I think that's the end of it. Whoa. Yeah, I think that's the end of it. And then this is proof with them scrolling through the screenshots to show where they got it from and that they're live screenshots, not edited. So let's take a look at that because that's helpful context. These are not faked. And like, I think it's one of those things where the more, like, I don't even feel like I can fully speak to the depths of the impacts of that kind of relationship other than, like, it's clearly some form of grooming and it's clearly messed up and it's clearly gross and it's clearly inappropriate. And the fact that the family knew that this was going on, first of all, the fact that Trent was doing it, Trent needs to be held accountable. Trent needs to be facing some consequences for that kind of behavior. And especially because it seems like Oliver is not the only person who had that kind of relationship, that kind of interactions ongoing with Trent. Because as we said earlier on toward the beginning of that tweet thread, I'm just scrolling back up to the top. Oliver was in his 30s. No, sorry. Trent was in his 30s. Oliver was 13 to 14. He knew. He told Oliver to keep the conversation secret. He had been told by his family not to talk to kids. And yet he continued. These are the earliest dates, July 18, 2018. You can look back at the screenshots that Oliver shows throughout this thread. July. Yep, July. These are the earliest dates, pretty much, out of everything else. Everything else that's in these threads, in these screenshots, came after. He admits right at the start he shouldn't be talking to him. His family has told him not to do this. He's gonna do it anyway. Don't tell your parents. So he knew from the start that he shouldn't have been doing it. So first of all, that Trent is responsible for himself in his 30s. So he needs to be held accountable. I also think like something needs to be said for the fact that like people would not have been trying to talk to Trent if he was not Colleen's brother. So Colleen can make a statement saying, hey, everybody, please don't talk to Trent. Colleen can say something to Trent. Colleen can can block him out of some accounts or something. I don't know. I don't know what was, in 2018. I don't know how different accounts worked in 2018. I don't know if the family had the ability to like take control of his stuff and block him from stuff. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, when you know that this is going on, there's a part of me that's like, Trent's responsible for his own shit here. He did this knowingly, and he needs to face the consequences. Full stop. It's Trent's fault that Trent did these things. Also, I think that his family knowing anything and everything that they did to make it easier for him to do this stuff, or to turn a blind eye, or to enable or him doing this stuff, is also bad. It is also very, very, very bad, and they need to face consequences for that. And I'm honestly like kind of surprised that I'm not surprised, because this is the kind of stuff that, you know, it's hard to go to the police about this type of stuff. It's not stuff that like can be it's a big step. So I don't want to say like I'm surprised that he hasn't faced any like criminal or whatever, because I'm not surprised, especially with the two different jurisdictions with Oliver. I don't know if he still lives in Pennsylvania, but Trent being in California and this taking place over the internet, it makes things very complicated and very difficult. But it just, you know, Trent already is not the most public figure in the family, so there's not a platform to remove from him, but he has found ways to use even the mildest of publicity and public recognition to use it for his own benefit, his own advantage, and taking advantage of little children for his own purposes and seemingly pleasure, apparently, in my opinion. So, like, something's got to happen here. I don't know exactly what's right, but I appreciate Oliver telling his story and sharing these screenshots, because this is very vulnerable to talk about. And it leaves me like this, because it's complicated. It's complicated. It's deeply complicated, and the only person who I think can bring it to the police would be Oliver. And if he has probably done so, it still doesn't mean that the police are going to pursue this because of the opposite coasts. And I don't know, but at least we all can know. Again, people are going to continue following Colleen. Now they're more educated in their decision about whether or not they want to do that. Similarly, people may or may not continue communicating with Colleen's family members. Now they have a much more educated basis upon which to make the choice to do that. Trent should be forever locked out of Instagram and Twitter and places where he can DM people, in my opinion. But as we've already talked about, platforms are just super choosy and have no standards when it comes to this stuff. Apparently, you can violate TOS all you want, as long as not enough of a shitstorm is raised about it, it seems. I don't know. I'm going to hop back to the chat. This is a long stream. Thank you guys who are sticking it out. You are troopers. You are troopers. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Yes! Throwback. It's giving Kai when he and Onision were grooming young kids. It is something. It is wild. Yeah. When the 13-year-old is setting the boundaries. Ay. Yes. Trent was working so hard to enmesh himself in Oliver's life, and it's so gross. Yeah, he was working overtime. Like, he seems to have had like some sort of an obsession with Oliver specifically, which is what makes it particularly impactful that Oliver is the one who spoke out about this. Because that level of enmeshment, that parasocial relationship can really does something to people. We've talked on this channel a million times about parasocial relationships and about the influencer-fan relationship and how influencers to fans, it's like a boss to employee relationship. So if Oliver felt that kind of a relationship with Trent, and similarly, they would have felt that relationship with Colleen as well, and was, networking with Trent as a potential way to get to meet Colleen. But Trent is also an influencer for young Oliver back, 5 years ago. It was brave of him to say no to Trent about things. It was brave of him to hold his ground to the freaking barrage of questions from Trent. It was brave of Oliver to bring up boundaries and say, I don't think this is okay, and I don't think my mom would like it either. And don't you notice, just like in the Colleen conversation, when Adam talks about going to visit her in Dublin at that tour stop, and her like freaking out about the fact that his parents, I don't know how she thought he was going to get there, but like his parents were going to be also with him, and that like completely flipped a switch and like changed the whole situation, and they only met for like 5 minutes and then she abandoned him in Dublin. Similarly, Trent seems to freak out a bit as soon as Oliver brings up his mom. And I don't think my mom would like us talking. Surprise, they weren't talking anymore after that. So, like, that's a red flag, too. I don't like it. Oh, hi, Olivia. There's too much, there's a lot of smoke around this fire. It's a problem. Trent has got to face some consequences. I wish that I wish that the internet yelling about it was enough to make that happen, and I don't think it is. But at least, again, like I said, people will be able to be more educated in making their choices about whether or not to consume content from this family, whether or not to respond to any messages from Trent, or to communicate with him at all in any way. That's what we can do in this moment, is educate. And speaking of education, there's just one more topic that I wanted to discuss that I mentioned before about Colleen. Wait. Okay, so Colleen's relationship with Eric Stocklin, who they're now married, of course. I think that the big thing that everybody has... Let me start over. I think the most scandalous part of Colleen and Eric's relationship thus far has been the fact that, based on publicly available information, it is clear to see that Colleen and Eric started seeing each other while Colleen was married to Joshua David Evans. And Josh knew about it, and, they weren't married for all that long. It was a little over a year, and then they ended up getting divorced. But, and that is a scandal. But what is also scandalous to me, in my opinion, is the fact that on that timeline, that would have meant that Colleen and Eric would have started seeing each other when Eric was Colleen's employee. And that's a huge HR issue. That's a huge power imbalance issue. And I really don't like it. I have a really long version of talking about this laid out in my notes. But I also don't think that I need to elaborate on why that's a problem. Like, chat, let me know, but please tell me that you know that it's a problem for somebody to start like flirting with their employee and to be wanting to date their employee. Like, I'll elaborate on this if I need to, but the power dynamic there should be clear, especially considering that the employer in that situation, Colleen, has such a vast power differential with Eric, who was a working actor at the time, and Colleen was producing and starring opposite Eric in that TV show. Yeah. So it's not like Eric was just hired by Colleen as she was the producer and he didn't have to interact with her. Like, he had to interact with her every time he filmed because he was playing Colleen / Miranda's best friend and neighbor and romantic interest. So it really does seem like she picked him, used her power to hire him specifically to play the role that she was going to play a romantic part with. And then she initiated a real life romance with him during the filming of the on-screen romance after she picked him to play the part. And him saying no in that circumstance carries a lot more risk than in another situation if they had just met at a bar and just so happened to both be actors and just so happened to connect and whatever. Also, I think, because I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe that there were two seasons. There were two seasons of Haters Back Off, the Netflix show. I didn't lay out any foundation for this. Once upon a time, Colleen had a Netflix show called Haters Back Off, and Colleen played Miranda Sings in that, and then Eric Stocklin played Patrick, her best friend / neighbor / became her romantic interest in the show. And so Haters Back Off had 2 seasons, and I believe they started kind of quietly seeing each other while while Colleen was still with Josh during the filming of the first season. And then second season, they were a little bit more like officially together because I believe at some point Colleen was pregnant during the filming of Haters Back Off, because I read that the TV, like that they talked about it in the show as like a virgin birth storyline. So, it was noticed, it was noticeable, it was part of it. And she does not have any kids with Josh. So, if Eric was there during the divorce from Josh, Eric would have seen the power of Colleen's stand-up and fandom and what they could do to somebody that Colleen fell out with. I think that also plays a role in potentially, if, for all I know, I'm speculating a lot here. Woohoo, speculation hat is on. My toxic gossip train conductor over here. But I'm just saying, it's already hard to say no to your boss about anything. It's additionally hard to say no to your boss about something as vulnerable as like a romance. It's additionally hard to say no to your boss after seeing the havoc they can wreak in somebody else's life who said no to her. And especially if he was starting to benefit from being in front of her large audience, seeing her rich lifestyle as a YouTuber, other things that make this pairing advantageous for Eric. And I don't believe that, I don't know much about Eric. He is not super involved with a lot of the online discourse. He appears here and there in the vlogs, but he's not like a main character, to be honest. Like, the kids are in the videos way more than he is. So somebody's asking, has Eric ever spoken publicly about any of this? I was kind of hoping that he would. When Colleen came back, because of all the conversations surrounding Josh earlier this year with the swoop docs. But I mean, at least not surrounding like this. I don't think that Eric has talked about the recent scandals that have gone on, and he was not featured in either of her most recent comeback vlogs. As far as the relationship as a whole, I have not seen much other than just him being the occasionally featured supportive husband who's having a lot of kids with Colleen. And, you know, I do hope and pray that he's very happy with her. That would be the best situation, and I hope that that's the case. But I can't get over the beginning of this relationship being very clearly weird. And I cannot help but wonder, like, if Eric had not wanted to date Colleen, would he have been able to say so at the time? Would it have risked him losing his job? Sammy pointed this out. It doesn't seem like Colleen would accept no for an answer, in Sammy's opinion, and I have to agree. Have you seen how Colleen acts toward people who tell her no? Like, even just, and this is where, again, I hate to bring it back to the cult upbringing thing, but part of growing up in a cult is getting used to the idea of ostracizing people who, like, disagree with you. We've seen Colleen do that. Former members of her fandom are cut off. Adam McIntyre was very suddenly cut off from Colleen and the group chats, the friends that he had in that community, and he was attacked too. He wasn't just cut off. He was cut off and then deemed an enemy, which is also culty behavior, just saying. And so I cannot help but think, especially if Eric saw what Colleen and her standum did to Josh, I hope that he's happy as a clam and always has been. But if he ever was thinking of leaving Colleen, I think seeing that would make it a whole lot harder to choose to do so. Like, the havoc that the standum wreaked on Josh's mental health, the harassment. Not everybody wants to go through that if they're comfortable enough and happy enough living a decent life with a millionaire YouTuber. I don't know. I'm speculating a lot. And like I said, I do hope that they are just the happiest couple on planet Earth. But I do not like how this relationship started. And it looks unprofessional. And if anybody's being opportunistic in this, I think it would be Colleen more than Eric. Because she was using her power to capture some easy prey. And I just don't like it. Everybody's an adult in that situation, but I just don't like it. With that being said, I think that if Eric was currently completely unhappy in that relationship, the time for him to have left her would have been this summer after everything that has happened. So, when the public tide was against Colleen would have been the safest time for him to get out if he felt so negatively, like, threatened, or felt like it would have been risky for him to leave. So it is totally possible, like I said, that they're happy as clams and they just have the happiest little marriage. And I do hope that that's the truth for them. Just still don't like how it started, and I think that more people should talk about it because it is an HR nightmare, in my opinion. In my humble opinion. Sammy? I love Sammy. I love Sammy being in my chat. I'm not surprised. Anyway. So I think I need to wrap up because my voice is dying and because I've talked on just about everything that I wanted to besides the fundamentalism stuff, which I have enough information about to do a whole stream about. And again, let me know if that's something that you want. Before I sign off, chat, let me know if there's any last things that you want my opinion on. Any last questions, comments, concerns? And Grumpy really wants the Fundy stream. Have a good one, Olivia. Ooh. What kind of plushie would I make? I don't know. I haven't really thought about a plushie before. I've thought about other merchy stuff. I promise I was working on it earlier this fall, and I keep running out of time and attention to work on it. I don't know about a plushie. I've always liked turtles. But I don't know if that's particularly related to my channel at all. I don't know. But yeah, I think the last thing really that I feel like I want to say to wrap everything up is just like, so we have all of this information, right? We have all of this knowledge of like the bad shit Colleen has done, her bad response, ongoingly bad response, and turning into a non-response. I think moving forward, she's not going to talk about it anymore. We have all this bad information about Trent. We have bad information about Corey. We have, some suspicions and discomfort about the Eric and Colleen relationship, or at least I do. So it's like, and some potential bad information, discomfort with Colleen's upbringing and the way that Chris and Jessica are raising their kids seems to be along the lines of that fundamentalist Christian culty vibe, which I can talk about in a different stream. So what do we do? What do we do with this? I think that truly at the end of the day, for as many of us who are capable of empathy, I think it's okay to have a nuanced opinion on Colleen Ballinger, on this whole family. I take that's my one hard stance that I ever take, is that nuance is needed, because nobody is just one thing that they have done, just one thing that they think, just one experience that they have had. Everybody's dealing with shit. Everybody has their good days and their bad days, whatever. So where you can find sympathy for Colleen, I don't think that that's a bad thing. But I think that it cannot outweigh the clear, abounding evidence of the wrongs that she has committed against many, many people, and her lack of willingness to address that. And the impact of her not being willing to address that truly, fully, publicly. And like I said, I do think that there's legalities around that. I think that she puts herself in legal risk if she denies doing stuff. I think she also puts herself at a legal risk if she more thoroughly discusses what she is admitting to. So strategically, I understand why she would not choose to do either of those things publicly, and why she's just trying to kind of put her head in the sand and just keep moving with what she's doing. We'll see how long it lasts. we'll see if she can make that kind, positive, inclusive space on her channel that she's always been publicly pretending that she's trying to make while she's in group chats online talking shit about her fans. I mean, if you want, sure, Colleen, keep pretending that that's what you're doing. Okay. But also we can't ignore I forgot what I was saying. We can watch her, I guess, like trying to, like pretending that she's trying to make this, proving that I can grow, proving that I can change. Go ahead. But we don't have to forget everything that we've learned about her. We don't have to, just because she has made a very basic minimum apology, we don't have to give her maximum forgiveness in response, if any. I think that's what she's expecting. And I don't know why, because there's no reason for her to think that that's what was going to happen. We are arming ourselves with knowledge in this case. The best thing we can do, and the most that we can do really, is to know what the truth is about Colleen, about Trent, about these situations that have gone on with Oliver, Becky, Ella, Adam, all of these people who are speaking out, and make educated decisions about who we're supporting or not. Like I said, I want all of you to come to your own conclusions, and I don't think it's appropriate necessarily to like go harass or, send hate. I just don't give her that attention. Don't give her that energy. Spend some energy on yourself sometimes, take care of yourself. Don't waste it on somebody who's attention hungry and who's only going to continue hurting herself and others through remaining online. But I think it is fair to leave constructive criticism, not name calling, constructive criticism, thought out, professional, whatever, and then detach yourself and go. It is okay to change your opinion when you find out new information. And Colleen pretending that it's not is a problem. We need to make educated decisions about who we support because our support so directly translates into money in these people's pockets. I don't know if Colleen will ever get to a place where she leaves YouTube, but I know that I think it's going to be at least a very long time before she returns to the status that she was at, if ever. I think the only thing to look out for now is what companies are dumb enough to sponsor her at this point. I hope people don't. That'll be some people to call out. But she knows everything that we have to say. We have said it to her. We have given her hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of commentary videos explaining why what she has done is wrong. And she gave us a 16-minute toxic gossip train grown-up tantrum video called Hi. And then she gave us 3.5 minutes at the beginning of this vlog. She gave us like 20 minutes of talking about it at all. Not 20 minutes of taking accountability, taking responsibility, apologizing sincerely and genuinely. 17 minutes of complaining, 3 minutes of pretending to care. So, she's got a lot of proving herself to do. If she does think that she has grown and changed, I don't think that she has. It's disappointing, but at least we know now. At least we know. At least we know everything about her and her family and what's really going on behind the scenes, so we can make decisions accordingly. I think that that's important, and that is something productive that has come out of this whole entire experience, as exhausting as it has been. And I am not nearly as involved as people like Adam, Ella, Becky, Oliver, really in the thick of it. It's exhausted me, and I'm not even in it. As exhausting as it has been, I feel like it has been worthwhile and it has been productive. So I hope that people can take solace in that and can heal and can move forward. That is my ultimate prayer. And that extends to Colleen. Colleen has some healing to do, and I hope that she can. I don't think that staying online is going to help that happen, but I hope that she can at some point. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to leave it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate you sticking it out for a very long stream. You're really, really making it. And I didn't think I was going to be streaming this long, but thank you for being here. No. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat, guys. I appreciate it so much. Oh, like the stream, subscribe to my channel, blah, blah, blah. I'm probably going to put out an edited version of maybe not this whole thing, but at least parts of this, or I might split this up into multiple parts. Real quick before I go, one big long video or multiple parts? Let me know, chat, while I just look for last comments. If a turtle is my mascot, you can call it on brand when you take an appropriate length of time to make content. Thank you, Grumpy. I like it. Yay. I didn't think about that. That is essentially what I do. A screaming turtle plush would be hilarious. I like it. I like it. Thank you for the ideas. You guys are more creative than me. All right, everybody. I'm going to head out. Thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your Monday, rest of your week, and hopefully I'll stream again soon. I'll probably start with getting videos out based on this stream, and then I have some other stuff I've been meaning to stream about, so that will be coming. A couple of other actually Colleen related topics, so keep your eyes out. Thank you so much. I'll see you again soon. Peace be with you always. Bye.